way off the rails for people who, we're going kind of deep on the bench here, but we've been doing it ever since we got credentialed access to the locker room and asked Doc all kinds of Leon Poe questions in front of the media who are trying to put a story together for major papers. And so we'll just continue it here. We give you what you want on Celtics Stuff Live, and that's way down deep, not the fluff. Jordan Mickey, though, never showed confidence with the parent club. That was the number one knock. And there were definitely flaws in his game, but he really suffered from a lack of confidence when he got called up, even though he looked totally together in the D League at the time. Now, Tremont Waters not suffering from that at all. Again, not the 2 blocks per game, but just the energy. Like he knew what he was doing to impact that game, not suffering from a confidence. If anything, you almost look at somebody like Carson Edwards, who continues to be a shooter, but does not display yet the confidence that he did in the summer league or even in preseason. He's kind of struggling somewhat with that shot. It's getting better. It's not as bad and cold as it was to start the season, but Tremont impacting the game in so many other ways. Even if he had had a tough shooting night that night, he still would have looked really good based on what they needed from him as a spark plug. And like you noted in the podcast following that, how he got Carson Edwards, it almost rubbed off on him, those two playing off of each other, and he instilled confidence in his backcourt mate from Summer League.
I I think it's worthy to take a look at whether or not Carson should take a trip up to Maine, try to get some feet under him. I don't, he's had some sparks of and glimmers of hope here and there, but as a young player, it's really hard to sustain that or to build upon that because you just don't have the knowledge base with which to work from. You don't know what's coming next. So I think that's why you see so many of these young guys, these young shooters, they just it's very hard for them to make that adjustment. Now, this could be it's possible that with Smart out that does open some time. I think in part Wanamaker's ascension has hurt Carson Edwards to a great degree, and his ability to use those minutes that he's not getting because Wanamaker's getting them. He's not able to knock the rust off. He's not able to shoot his way out of it. But clearly, Edwards, when he comes in, he doesn't play scared. He doesn't play soft. He goes in and he gives you what you expect from him. It's just unfortunately there's still mistakes. He's a rookie and he's inconsistent. And unfortunately, that's the name of the game, and largely why the Celtics bench has been so feast or more famine. I think this season, especially with you see Hayward and you see Kemba go down, and so much being put on the guys like Jalen and Jason and Smart. By doing that, it even more so shows you how important it is to have veterans on a bench. And you're relying on, Shemi Ojale is like the veteran on that bench. Brad Wanamaker in his second NBA season, though obviously playing a number of years in Europe. That's a hard road to hoe for guys who are in their first season. And, poor Grant Williams, 0 for 22. He's gonna make one.
He's
And he'll,
making
and
a
he'll have a bunch.
difference. He's making a difference in other areas, but he does need to. It's not like the shots are way off either. They're almost always back rimming. It's like he just needs to get a little more arc on that shot and go up with it instead of pushing the ball out. And I don't know that that's exactly what it is, or maybe he's just a little tired from doing all the dirty work and he doesn't quite have the lift in the legs and he just needs to get up another quarter of an inch when he's getting that shot off. But all he needs, I think, is a little more arc. Just that shot's just a little flat. And if you could just take that part off, I think they're not offline. I guess that's the thing I'm getting at. They're almost always a little too strong or front rimming. It's really not a left right, kind of issue. So the release is good. Everything else, I have to keep looking at that. I just hope he doesn't get scared to shoot it because he's going to have to do that. And when you talk about getting the bigs involved, if he can get that shot to go down, it is going to be a difference maker because they'll be able to when they are sagging, they'll be able to put Grant in and do that change of pace. And Tice is, I think, by All-Star break, we're going to see him really working that in. I just think they have so many perimeter shooters, especially with the progression of Marcus Smart and him in that starting lineup, that they just don't need. They need Daniel being the cutter in many cases because they have Jalen parked out in the corner, not cutting, and that's another thing I'd like to see them do more of. With that athleticism that Jalen has, and we've talked about it before. I harken back, and I know it wasn't Brad that was coaching the team, it was Doc, but the way that Avery Bradley used to cut down the middle, I want to see more of that from Jalen, because one thing he's realizing is that if he can move fluidly into a shot and get up into the air sooner, especially with a slightly open lane, doesn't even have to be fully wide open, that he's almost always elevating above the defender. So he's just got to make sure that he's not getting a charge call, and otherwise he's pretty much gravy to start attacking. And he's doing it in creative ways, but I think that needs to become more and more part of his offense. We'll talk about that more in just a second. But football and basketball seasons are in full swing. Get into the game with our exclusive sports betting partners, betonline.ag. Sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit to start betting college or professional ball. Every spread, every total, every winner or loser, straight bet, parlay, or tease your way through the
Woo.
season. Yes, you can even bet on wild proposition bets like who will make the college football playoff or who will be the NFL MVP. It's not going to be Brady, hint, hint. Get the fastest to market odds, updates, and payouts with our new sportsbook partners, betonline.ag. Head over to BetOnline today on your mobile device to join and use promo code CLNS50 to receive your 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline.ag, your online sportsbook experts.